Right, welcome back to my YouTube channel where I try and take different subjects, however complex, and break them down into really simple and actionable tips that you can take away and use. Today, we are going to talk all about protein. So protein is something that you hear about all over social media and all over the news. You'll hear about it in gyms. You'll probably hear about it on every single diet or any single nutritionist who talks about diet and nutrition. Protein will always come up really high on the priority list and right near the start of the conversation. But we're going to talk what is the truth and what is a load of rubbish. Before we start, what I'm going to say is if you haven't taken advantage of it already, look in the description below, go to my Instagram profile, drop me a follow and send me a DM with the word recipes, because totally on cue for today. If you do that, so drop me a follow, send me a DM with the word recipes, I will send you a high protein recipe book for free just to say thank you for following me and watching these videos, because I promise you it means a lot to me. So first of all, protein. We've all heard about it, but do we need lots of protein? If so, how much do we need? Now, first of all, there is a really big common misconception when it comes to the recommended daily amount of protein. If you search it on Google, if you look on the NHS website or whatever healthcare service you'll use, you will probably see a number of 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight as the recommended daily amount. What I want you to do is say bollocks to that. That is absolute rubbish. That amount came from basically a study or studies that if you did nothing in your life, if you literally just laid in bed all day, no exercise, no walking, no going to work, you barely needed a functioning immune system, you didn't care about bone density, then that would be enough to basically survive. But we don't want to just survive, we want to thrive, and we want to actually be able to move from our sofa or from our bed and actually be healthy and okay. So ignore that one. In fact, it annoys me so much, that one, that we're just going to get rid of it altogether. Now, what is the actual amount? So there's a few different ranges that people can use, and it normally goes between 1.4 and 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight. Need a bigger whiteboard. So this tends to be the range depending on what your goals are, and depending on, when we get there, what the best sources of protein are. I think 1.4 is a bit low, personally. So when I'm working with my clients, I give them a range of between I like to be closer to 1.8 to 2 grams, but for the argument's sake of this one, we're going to go between 1.6 and 2 grams per kilogram of body weight. So that I give my clients a range, because on every single day, if you're sort of mixing foods up a little bit, you may, a meal or two may be slightly lower in protein one day, slightly higher the other day. But as long as we're hitting a minimum of 1.6, we're pretty happy. Now, that is a more usable range. That will account for you having a really good functioning immune system, good cellular repair. If you exercise, it will help with sort of repairing and building muscle and recovering from exercise. It will help with if you're just generally active, walking around. That is the proper amount to go for. You can go above that, and it's absolutely fine. There are misconceptions about sort of kidney problems from eating too much protein. Not true. What I am going to do actually is we're going to put a misconceptions. Terrible quick writing. We will come to misconceptions at the end because there are quite a few. So we've covered how much. Best sources. Now, there is a little bit of debate on this. So basically with protein is made up of what's called amino acids. They are the building blocks of protein. There are essential amino acids, which basically you have to get from your diet because your body can't make them. And then there are non-essential amino acids, which your body can make. And then there are branched chain amino acids, and so there's quite a lot of different things to take into account. So it's not just the grams of protein on the label of the food you're eating. So best sources, I hate to say it, vegans, but the best sources are animal products. So eggs, red meat, white meat, fish, dairy, they are your best sources of protein because they are complete. And when we say complete, we are talking about the amino acid profile. Quite often on plant-based diets, you need to be quite strategic with pairing different protein sources to get the different amino acids to make it complete. There are very few plant-based proteins that are complete. Doesn't mean you can't do it. I've worked with lots of vegans. I know other people who've worked with vegans. I know some vegans who are really thriving. But they are the ones who take it seriously and get coached. So they know how to do this properly. Your everyday vegan or plant-based diet person who just looks at the grams of protein, they tend to struggle. So just do your research if you are on a plant-based diet. When it comes to the amount, there was a study that came out and said that if you're hitting enough overall protein, then it doesn't tend to matter if it's animal-based, plant-based, a combination of. You tend to get similar results. That's great if you're getting enough overall protein, because like I say, if you're on a plant-based diet, you've got to pair different proteins to get the amino acid profile. So on the study, it's basically saying that, blanket statement, if you carpet bomb with enough protein, you'll hit what you need to hit on average. It's just, if you're doing it from animal sources, you know you're getting the complete proteins. With the plant-based ones, if you're not doing your research and you're just going for total protein, you've got to just take on a load of protein to basically, throw a lot against the wall and enough will stick that you hit your targets. So that's why I'm saying best sources. If you are on a plant-based diet, then you're going to want to mix things like lentils, certain beans and legumes, maybe a bit of tofu, a bit of tempeh. Some of them come with digestive issues, so again, you've just got to be sensible with it. If you're an omnivore and you eat, you are an omnivore because you're a human, but if you eat an omnivorous diet, then I would just try and get the most of your protein from animal sources and then use the plant-based sources for other vitamins and minerals and your carbohydrates and your fruit and veg and that sort of thing. So those are the best sources. Supplements. Now, another common misconception is you just think protein supplements are for bodybuilders. Absolutely not. Think of protein supplements as fast food for healthy people. So if you are a busy person, busy parent, busy professional, just a busy person in general, then you may need quick snacks, you may need quick food, and we want to get that protein level up. So a protein supplement is really, really good. If you need a, mid-morning, mid-afternoon snack, you can have a protein shake and a couple of pieces of fruit, and that becomes a really healthy snack with a high protein content. Say you like porridge, then what you can do is make overnight oats, but make it with protein in. You then get the flavor of the protein and you get a big protein hit to go along and make that meal more nutritious. So supplements, absolutely fantastic. Again, as long as you're not plant-based, go for a whey protein supplement. Again, just more bioavailable, your body uses it better, it's more complete. Muscle protein synthesis lasts longer off a whey protein supplement than it does off a plant-based supplement. So unless you have to have a plant-based protein supplement, just go for whey. Whey concentrate is absolutely fine, slightly cheaper. If you struggle with dairy and lactose, you can go for what's called a whey isolate, which just basically means they filter it a little bit more, makes it easier to digest if you have issues with dairy. Now, misconceptions. So one of the big misconceptions was the amount of protein. That is a huge one. And other misconceptions are, I forgot, when I wrote misconceptions, I had a couple of really, really good ones in my head that I've now completely forgotten. Misconceptions as well is when we're talking about plant-based forms of protein, you have to watch the calorie amount. So say you're having some steak, you'll hit a lot of protein in a small amount, which will keep the calories down. On plant-based diets, because you've got to do a whole array of protein and you've got to eat more volume to get the amount of protein, calories can get out of control. So just make sure that you are taking into account the calories and you are keeping track of that, because that can get out of control. Otherwise, I hope that you found this really useful, because it is a common topic and a common thing that people will talk about, people will even dismiss. So you'll hear some nutrition experts dismiss the role of protein in the body and almost tell you that it's overblown to sell supplements. It's not. I mean, they want to sell supplements, but the role of protein is not overblown. It should be, when it comes to your macronutrients, it should be the number one that you set in place. So, give this video a thumbs up if you found it useful, drop any comments below, and also, like I say, drop me a follow on Instagram, send me a DM with the word recipes, and I will get you a high protein recipe book for free, just to say thank you for watching. But until next time, eat your protein, and I will speak to you later.